So as part of our big landscaping project down here in the mini orchard area, we've planted a few trees, but we've got a couple of trees to come out as well, and quite a few that need a bit of a prune. And so we've got these two big apple trees behind me. They're covered in ivy, they're mostly dead, and we're going to take these out and we're going to put some new trees here in their place. Now we have a chainsaw, but it's battery operated, and these trees are quite large. So we've got some professional help in today to help us get rid of these and probably chop them up for some firewood. And then since we've paid him for the day, we'll see what else we can get him to do as well. Bom dia, Sr. Jorge.
Bom dia.
Está tudo bem?
Está tudo.
Bom dia, bom
Obrigado,
dia.
E com vocês também?
Também, também.
Isto está úmido. Dai back. Está verde, mas tem um ligeiro câmbio, não é viável. Porque este ponto aqui. Então, nossa alternativa principal vai ser aqui. E demos-lhe uns snips.
Snip.
Uns snips. E vamos lá ver como é que ele se comporta. Macieira ou pereiro?
Acho que é macieira.
Macieira.
É macieira.
Acho que sim. Eu estava vivo.
We've pruned most of our olive trees with the help of our neighbour, but there were a couple that we hadn't gotten round to. This tree in particular is very tall, and we wanted to shorten it. George explained that this is very possible, but it's best to do in stages over a couple of seasons. He helped us with this olive and another on the boundary, which was in a bit of a state with quite a lot of damage from being covered in brambles for many years.
Uau! É diferente.
Uma nova árvore.
Uma nova árvore.
Agora vamos ver se vai dar pêssegos. Portanto, ou dás pêssegos ou então...
É pêssegos ou
Ameixas?
almôndegas? Não. Não é almôndegas.
Ameixas?
Não.
Não, isto é qualquer coisa de pêssego.
Amêndoas.
Ou amêndoa? É possível.
É possível. Não sei.
Ou é pessegueiro. Porque é muito idêntico à flor.
So we had a very successful morning with George the arborist taking down some of the dead trees and pruning some of the bigger trees that I was not so keen on getting up on ladders to try and deal with. But we've got a few smaller trees down here in this corner of the farm that we very rarely come to because we don't really have much here at the moment, although we do have big plans for the future. And I'm going to try and prune some of the olive trees down here whilst Kylie's doing a bit of a tidy up around the boundary. So when I was chatting to George, he was saying that olive tree pruning is like his therapy. So let's see how therapeutic pruning a tree can be. I mean, where do you even start with something like this? Start with the dead stuff. I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk to you much this afternoon. We've been very, very busy pruning all the olives, mulching all the branches and doing a whole load of tidying up. Oh, it's been a very long day. We started at 8:30 this morning with George. It's now almost 6 o'clock and the whole village is alive with people tractoring and planting potatoes and all sorts of stuff. We're almost done and then probably have a rest tomorrow and then something else will start on Monday. Good day's work though.
Right, so one Williams pear, one Rocha pear, one Pink Lady, one Golden Delicious, and a Fuji. So those 3 apples are specific for cider making. Couldn't find any details about pears specific. Got a Rocha because they're quite quintessential to Portugal. And then the other one.
And then the other one.
That's just what they had. So we have 3 spots.
Well, 3 spots available now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We will get the rest of them in eventually.
Now this guy, the Golden Delicious, I think one of the cats has been scratching on this one.
I don't know if that was cat or if we just...
Or if it was just like that.
We bought a dud tree.
Well, see, Wally's just having a good scratch over there. So
the issue here, so this part is the rootstock, and then this is the graft here for the type of, what is it, Golden Delicious.
Yeah.
And because there's some damage to the bark on the rootstock, it means that the energy from the roots can't get up the stem to the tree. This is something that I learnt when talking to George.
It doesn't look too damaged, like it's not too deep, it's really just the top layer flaking off.
Yeah, so it
So-
might be okay.
Have two options. We can either put it in the ground, because that's where it's going to have the best chance of success, and put a cat guard on it. So yeah, we can either do that, or we can just put it into a pot and leave it on the deck and keep an eye on it.
I say stick it in the ground
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens.
As one of our three. And then the others, we just wait until we finished the trench. Now that the trees have been removed down there. So I think we're going to put the 3 apples in, because they're the ones that are looking the least healthy, let's say. And the pears look really good, so they can probably wait another couple of weeks in pots. So that's the plan. 3 apples, and then we'll come back for the pears in another week or so. Let's just hit a rock or something.
Do you want to bring a tree over and we'll just see if we're getting the right size?
Yeah, looks about right here. And then we're going to put some compost on top.
Yeah, on top in this case, I think.
Oops.
Oof, yeah, there's not a lot of root on that.
We'll see.
We'll see. I think we've found where not to buy trees from.
Yeah. It's enough. Come on. I'll try and get some mulch on here as well.
Yeah.
To protect this top.
Have we got any left?
No, when George comes, I mean.
Oh, after George has been back, yeah.
Okay.
Bom dia! Tudo! Com vocês, tudo bem?
Maybe we can just get some bark compost out of the pile up there and put it on top for the moment. Yeah, so these males look so much better because this one is much more flat on top.
Yeah, well, we can maybe modify the avocado
Yeah.
ones. Next up, let's go with the Golden Delicious.
Oh, that's got a much better root system. I'll be surprised if that other one makes it then.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think we've learnt where not to buy trees from.
Yeah.
We'll go to the nursery next time.
Here comes the rain.
It's okay at the moment.
No, I meant from a watering in perspective. It's good
that.
timing.
Oh, good timing, rather than bad times. It's raining and we're outside.
Yeah, I much prefer these flat.
I much prefer this method of tree planting. It's much easier on the back, much faster.
Well, I did have to dig a whole rainwater trench first. Not too much, just so we have enough for the next one. Yep, that's enough.
Nice.
That mound's not as big as the others, do you care?
No, not really.
Okay.
About like that, yes. Pink Lady.
These ones I like to eat as well.
Yeah, they're tasty.
Very nice. Might need to go get some more. Yeah.
Okay, we've got our 3 trees in the ground. It took approximately 3 minutes, which is much better than the 1.5 days or 2 days that we spent planting 3 avocado trees. But we're not quite done because they need a bit of a prune. Because these trees are really just a single stick, there's buds all the way along what will become the trunk eventually. So we want to perhaps rub some of those off a bit lower down, but we also want to choose where we want the main branches of the tree to begin. If we left it like this, then it would end up being a huge tree. But because we're trying to put quite a few in a relatively small area, we want to keep them small. It will mean that they're easier to prune, easier to harvest, and they won't take up as much space. From the research that we have done, which is pretty much just watching Urban Farmstead on YouTube, the guy does some amazing tree pruning videos, and we've learnt a lot from him. We want the kind of main scaffold of the tree to begin at about pocket height or waist height, so that when it puts off its main branches that we train over time, it doesn't get too big. So we're essentially going to come through and half the size of each of these trees that we've planted, and then we'll pretty much be done. I think we're going to go to about this height here with these nice clean pruners on a bit of an angle.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Job done.
So we could potentially try and root this into a pot and grow another one.
Yep.
I don't know if it will work because it's not got a rootstock, but
I'm going to
we
do
can
it
give
anyway.
a go.
Yeah, why not?
Give it a go. So just above,
Yeah?
yeah.
Not a tree expert. Go watch Kyle. He knows what he's talking about.
Pruned. So there's your Fuji. You might get an extra out of that as well.
Yeah.
So we've got our trees in the ground, initial prune. We're going to see if we can propagate some new trees from the cuttings that we just took. Who knows if that will work, but it will be a fun experiment. And we do have some more trees to go in here, but not yet.
So the other trees that we have are going to go in this space here, which is currently taken up with lots of stuff and trimmings from the trees that were taken down. So the remaining piece of work is we need to finish digging this trench, which has got the rainwater in it, which is what this is. And then at the end of this, wherever it ends, we'll also do an overflow at the end. Then all of this, our tree guy George is coming back with his big chipper to chip it all for us. Once that is done, we also need to dig up a whole load of ivy roots in here.
That's not going to be fun.
That's not going to be fun. And then we'll put the remaining trees that we have along this section so that they benefit from this rainwater pipe.
So we've got 2 pears left, but I think we might be able to fit in a couple of other
And a
trees
guava.
as well.
We have a guava as well.
Oh, the guava too, yeah. It's not super healthy though, but we'll see.
We'll see. We've got still kind of the rest of April before it's too late to put trees in. Though I've heard people here put trees in the summer and then they just water them and they're fine. But we want to get them all in. We all did want to get them all in by the end of March. That hasn't happened. End of April, hopefully this project is done in its entirety. Fingers crossed.
And maybe we can talk about why we're planting so many of these types of trees.
Yes. So you may have seen last year when Emma, Guy's sister, came over, and Kat, her partner, we made some cider together on the deck from the apple trees we already have on the property. Now those apple trees, A, are not in very good health, and B, they're not specifically made for cider making. So these trees that we've planted are cider-specific apples.
Well, they're good for cider.
Yes, they're the varieties that are best for cider making because they're sweeter and juicier. So that's why we're doing this. The 3 apples and the 2 pears are for cider making. At some point in the future, there will be another orchard on the other side of the property, but we just wanted to get these in as soon as possible because they take some years to grow. So that's what it's for. Our whole objective kind of with what we grow is to A, grow the things that we enjoy so that we can have them fresh, organic, right from where we've grown them, and B, to plant and grow the things that we can't get access to. Now you can get cider here, it's just not a type of cider that I enjoy. It's really sweet. It's fine for a hot summer's day, but I also like the kind of scrumpier cider. So that's why we have done this whole project, to get some trees in so we can make our own cider because we can't get it here, the ones I like. So yeah, stay tuned for 5 years' time when we start making cider from these trees, or 10 years' time, however long it takes.
In the meantime, maybe we'll just buy some apples.
Maybe, yes, from the co-op.
Yeah, so there we go. We removed some trees, we planted some new ones, and of course we planted others in the previous episode as well. So do go and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. And do hit subscribe and stick around for future episodes down here in the garden, but also in the house as well. We've got loads more renovation to come later in the year, but we want to wrap up some of the projects outside first. But that's it for today. We'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.